Howdy future CPAs, welcome back for another episode of CPAguide.tv. So today's video, we're gonna be doing a review of Gleim CPA review course. So I can tell you without a doubt, without this little course right here, I would not be a CPA today. So we're gonna dive into the specifics of what I like and what I don't like, and whether Gleim CPA review course is a course that you should consider. So let's hop back behind my computer and get started going over everything that's included with Gleim CPA review. All right, welcome back behind my computer. So the very first step, of course, when anyone sets up a review for a CPA review course is how does the study planner work? Because being on schedule and having a plan is essential. So your CPA review course needs to have a good study planner. So let's take a look at Gleim's. So let's go ahead and start the setup. Let's see here. So we're going to want to start, say we're scheduling it for September. And then we're going to want to sit for it in, say, November 30th. Go next. And then we'll click on any dates that we can't study. So we'll just, select a couple here and there. You click next. And then here's an estimate for the total number of hours per day we can study. So let's say we're taking Sunday off. You can just set it to 0. And click next. Okay, so then basically this is all the time that we'll have, which should be more than enough, and then we'll click Save and Continue. Let's see here, next. So you can get periodic phone calls from the Gleim Personal Counselor, which is fantastic. That's one of their customer support features. So basically this personal counselor is going to be your go-to contact as you sit for the CPA exam, and they're going to follow up with you as you're progressing through the studies. We can turn that as no. You can also get text messages based on your study plan to remind you of when things are due. And yes, you're going to complete them in sequential order and save. Okay, so now your study planner is all set up and ready to go. Now we can start the course. All right, now that we have our study plan all figured out, let's take a look at the Gleim CPA review course dashboard. So basically there are 20 different individual study units on the dashboard. And then you've got your exam rehearsal and then your final review. So basically you're going to go through each study unit, and if you'll recall, each study unit is listed on your study planner. So your study planner is going to give you a due date to complete each individual study unit. So also on your dashboard here are some additional resources, so you can head back to your study planner, download your audio lectures, content updates, and all these additional little helpful PDF documents. So always in the back of your mind, remember that additional resources is right here. Okay, so then basically you're going to progress through the material. So let's take a look at an individual study unit right now. All right, so let's start with study unit number 1. So we'll go ahead and click on Start SU1. So the first step is to take a diagnostic quiz. So basically this is going to be just a representative sample of multiple choice questions from this particular study unit. So you can take it, and if you score, 95% of them right, then you might not want to spend much time on this particular study unit. Maybe just, briefly read through the textbook and then answer a few multiple choice questions and so forth. But if you perform weaker, then you're probably going to want to spend a significant amount of time on this particular study unit. So for now, we're just going to skip the quiz. We're going to look at multiple choice questions later. So I'll show you how that works in just a bit if you hang tight. Okay, so there's 4 different little sections within each subunit. So the first one is where you do all your learning. So you can read the book, watch the videos, or listen to the audio lectures. All of it is included right here. So then the next step is once you've actually learned the material, whether it's from reading the book or watching the lecture or doing both, then it's time to take an adaptive quiz. So this is going to be multiple choice questions over what you just learned from the lectures and textbook. And you can also do an adaptive simulation, which is going to basically be a simulation over that same content. The third option here is to take a custom quiz. So this is just a separate test bank of multiple choice questions that Gleim has available for you just for some extra practice. Okay, so then the third section is your performance. So as you complete multiple choice questions and simulations, your analytic data is going to show up here. So it'll let you know how many you got right or wrong, how long you're taking per multiple choice question and simulation, and so forth. And you can look at your history of all your quizzes that you've taken. And then the final section is just some extras for this particular study unit. So again, just some PDF documents and additional tools. So nothing too special here, but if you're especially having issues with a particular study unit, check them out to make sure you've got everything at your fingertips. Okay, so now that we understand the 4 little sections within each subunit, you're going to want to go ahead and either decide whether you want to read the book or watch the video. So let's take a look at both. So here's what the book outline looks like. So within each study unit, there's going to be subunits within it. So let's go ahead and read subunit 1.1. So basically you have the option here to use the digital version of the textbook, or you can use the physical copy that Gleim CPA Review will send you. So for me personally, I'd rather have a sheet of paper in my hand so I can make notes and all that fun stuff. But some of you might prefer the digital version, and this is something that you can download on PDF as well. But again, remember, there's nowhere to really take notes or highlight or anything like that on this particular digital version. So it's something to keep in mind as you start planning how you're going to use Gleim's textbook. Okay, so after you have read this particular content, then you can do some focus questions. So these are just going to be some true-false questions that they've put together, and they'll automatically tell you if it's right or wrong. So you can just go through and really just do a quick test of your grasping of what you just read. So I do recommend answering these questions after reading, because if you're like me, I typically zone out when I start reading, so it's always good to kind of test yourself. Okay, so subunit menu. Okay, so going back to here, let's go back to learning. So that's basically how you'll be using the digital version of the book outline, and the physical textbook is identical to what you'll see on the digital. Okay, so the next option you have is to watch videos. So let's take a look and see what that looks like. Okay, so as you can see, it's broken down into subunits, and you're going to have a live in-studio version of basically your textbook in the form of a video. So if you're somebody who prefers to watch a lecturer explain things to you, this might be the best route for you to go. So basically, the instructor in here, I can go ahead and start playing the video.
Presenting to the IRS or any of its officers or employees all matters relating to a client's representing immediate family without compensation and employees representing their full-time employer. Additionally, a practitioner may not charge a contingent.
Okay, so essentially it's a live in-studio instructor walking you through the textbook. And something that I did notice when you compare Gleim's video lectures to other CPA review courses that are out there is that they don't simultaneously have the textbook in a separate window over here so you can follow along. You can't make digital notes on the lecture, and you can't bookmark anywhere in the lecture as well. So if you're somebody who really learns well from watching video lectures, it's going to be a little bit difficult to come back to a particular video since you can't really bookmark or leave notes or anything like that. So I'm hoping that Gleim improves this in the future. So it's kind of one of the weaknesses that I do see in their learning section here. But as long as you've got your textbook, you can probably leave some sticky notes or something like that as a reminder for where in which subunit is the particular topic that you're struggling with is located, and then you can come back to your lectures and so forth. But I did notice that at the end of each lecture, typically they'll have multiple choice questions, so the instructor will walk you through walk you through the question and then explain why the question is right or wrong on base for each individual option that you have for this particular question. So that, to me, that's extremely valuable to have somebody walk you through why a question is right or wrong, and is absolutely something that I would use if I was using Gleim CPA Review again. So And as you can see, the time, it's about 30 minutes, 15 minutes, 12 minutes. So the video lectures, they're not overly long either. So, which is good because you're going to be constantly cycling through watching a video, reading the textbook, answering questions, and so forth. So Gleim keeps it moving and doesn't have you sit there for 15 hours watching all the video lectures and so forth. So if you're somebody like me who can't sit still for very long, this is definitely a good way to go as well. Okay, so let's go back to learning. Okay, so then the third option is to listen to audios. So again, you can download these MP3s or you can listen to them directly within the course and so forth. So if you're somebody who has a long commute, this might be a good option. So let's go ahead and play one of these so you can get a...
Responsibilities. This study unit covers the various individuals who make practice before the Internal Revenue Service and their standards of conduct.
Okay, so basically it's either a male or a female walking you through what's in your textbook, and it's just another form of learning that you can utilize from Gleim CPA. Okay, so now that we've understand everything that's involved in the learning process within Gleim, let's go ahead and check out testing. So there's 3 different options here, so let's go ahead and take an adaptive quiz. Okay, so here's the multiple choice question setup, and as you can see, it's going to be pretty much identical to what you'll see on the real CPA exam. So we'll hop to number 1. So question 1 here, so you've got 4 different options, so go ahead and select it, and you'll note that it doesn't give you the explanation just yet. And if you need it, there is a calculator, just like you'd find on the real CPA exam. You can also flag each question. So this one, say it's a tricky one that we don't necessarily understand and we're just guessing, go ahead and flag it and you can come back to it later. All right, so let's answer just a few of these questions as quickly as we can. Bear with me. All right, let's hop around a bit. Make sure we get as many subunits as possible so that we can fill out our multiple choice analytics to see how Gleim handles those. All right, last one. All right, so now you submit the testlet. And here we go. So we did not do well at all, considering we just guessed. So we only got 1 question correct. So far our adaptive quiz score is 5%. So the adaptive quiz score is the total questions you answered correctly out of the total questions presented from the current study unit. So what does all this mean? So basically it means that I didn't get any correct, but what's really cool is that Gleim will tell you which subunit the particular question related to. So as you can see, I got 50% right from 1.3 and 0% right from 1.1 and 1.2. So you can guess where I need to be spending my time. And that's what the real power here of Gleim CPA Review is that they give you granular analytics that are going to help you find your weaknesses and your strengths so that you know exactly where to spend your time studying. So let's go ahead and review the quiz. So this is where a lot of your learning is going to come from. So basically we can walk through every single question that we just tried to answer, and it's going to let us know which ones we got wrong and which ones we got right. And then it also links directly to the textbook as well. So basically you can go through, and now that we know this one isn't right, so let's reread the question and figure out which one is actually correct. So there we go, we got it right. Now, the key here is to understand why you got the question right or wrong. And this, the ability to reread the explanation is incredibly powerful. So I do recommend that you spend a lot of time going through your practice quizzes and figuring out why you got a question right or wrong. And especially, even if you got the question right, take a look at it and figure out why it is correct, because maybe you guessed on this particular question and so forth. But again, Gleim is very powerful when it comes to multiple choice analytics and your ability to learn from multiple choice questions itself. Okay, so now we can continue back to study unit number 1. All right, so now we've done an adaptive quiz. Let's go ahead and pop into the adaptive simulation. Okay, so there's 5 individual simulations here within this testlet. So let's pop into number 1. So basically, you're going to go through, read on the instructions, You got all these different tabs up here. You can copy and paste, split it horizontally, split vertically. You got your authoritative literature window where you're going to be doing some research if you need it, your spreadsheet, and then your calculator, of course. So basically everything you'll have on the CPA exam, you've got here within Gleim itself. So we can go ahead and answer a few of these. So basically you just double click on the orange and then select your option. You can move on. And again, guys, these are exactly like the simulations you will see on the 2017 exam. So they include DRS and all that fun stuff. So let's go ahead and just change a couple here. Then we can make our selections here. And all right, here's the research question. All right, totally guessing, and we'll submit the testlet. Okay, so not too bad. I got a couple questions right. Now, so again, they're going to let you know where you got things right and wrong, and we'll add it to your adaptive score. So I would have only scored an 18% on this particular simulation, so not very good, considering that simulations now make up 50% of your score. So let's go ahead and review the simulation. And let's see here. So something that I did note is that they only tell you if the question is right or wrong. So you'll have to figure out why it's right or wrong on your own. So if you come across a simulation you really don't understand, definitely reach out to Gleim's customer support and they'll help explain why you got a particular question on the simulation right or wrong. So let's see here. So let's end the review and continue to study unit number 1. Okay, so then the third option is to create a custom quiz. So this is a separate test bank that Gleim offers you. So basically you can create a practice exam, which is going to mirror the real thing, or create a study session, which means that when you answer a question, you'll get immediate feedback onto why the question is right or wrong. So let's go ahead and create a study session now. So as you can see, it breaks down each study unit. You can do a study session over all study units or just one subunit and so forth. So it's very granular into the detail that you can create this custom quiz. So let's go ahead and click next, random order, and let's only do 5 questions in the interest of time. Okay, so as you can see, this setup is a little bit different. It's not quite like what you'll see on the CPA exam, but you'll see why in a second. So you click this and it'll let you know if you got it right or wrong and then give you the detailed explanation. So this is a way to quickly get through a lot of multiple choice questions and learn from the explanations and so forth. And you can mark them for review later and so forth. So we'll click next, next. And another thing I like is that it does link directly to the textbook. So if you get it wrong and you have no clue why, you can always go to your textbook. Or you can submit inquiry to the Ask the Experts and so forth. So a lot of help and assistance is waiting for you when you start using Gleim. Let's see here. Okay, so there we go. Now we can grade it. Okay, so then here's your performance analysis. So if you show you how to get here. So basically, as you complete more and more study sessions and practice exams, this performance analysis is going to start getting populated. So this is just the grade for the particular quiz that we just took. So there's also summary tab. So this is just a summary of your results by individual study unit. So it gets very, very granular, as you can see. Lets you know your last attempt, how many you got right or wrong, your last 3 attempts, and then cumulative. So again, a ton more data than you could possibly need to really figure out where to study. So then you got your performance graphs as well, which is just a different cut of the data. And so let's see here, we can do this. So yeah, so you'll have a really good idea of where you're scoring higher and where you're scoring weaker based on your analytics, and they call it the Smart Adapt Performance Projections. Okay, and then you've got a history of all your different quizzes that you've taken. So another thing that's really cool is that they track your average time per question. So this is really good when you start budgeting for time management for when you actually sit for your exam. Okay, so let's back out of this. Turn to review course. Okay, so this custom quiz, it has its own multiple choice questions and analytics all set up for it. But as you go through the adaptive quiz and adaptive simulation, they also have another cut of data in the performance tab. So as you can see here, it's going to be a cumulative or a subunit specific performance for each individual study unit. So basically you'll see how you're doing, your overall regulation average by study unit, and then your simulation results, your average time per question, and so forth. So this performance tab is going to be linked back to that adaptive learning system that Gleim has recently implemented. So this is a separate set of analytics from your custom quiz. So let's see here. Okay, so now that we've got all, let's see, so we've gone through performance and then extras, of course. Oops. Okay, so extras, there's just some additional tools that are here, and we don't really need to dive into that at all. So let's go back to the study unit list. Okay, so now that we're back at the study unit list, and in theory, let's say we get through all 20 study units and we're ready to test out the exam rehearsal. So let's check out the exam rehearsal. So basically you select that and then click Start Exam Rehearsal. So essentially, the exam rehearsal is going to be a pre-exam. So it's going to mirror exactly what you will experience on the real thing. So I highly, strongly urge you to treat this like the real thing. So lock yourself in a room and act like you're at a Prometric center. So go ahead and click Launch, Accept. And then here's all your testlets and how many questions and simulations and all that fun stuff. And begin the exam. Okay, so as you can see here, testlet 1, 38 multiple choice, just like on the real exam. And we'll just answer a couple questions. Each testlet. So we've got some word problems. Don't forget about that calculator. Click Submit. Submit testlet. All right, testlet 2. All right, we answered 2 questions. That's good enough. Okay, so on to simulation. So this one has 2 simulations within it. So now we got to figure out, let's see here, fill in the tax return data based on the results up there. And I'm just entering numbers. So basically you'll read through all this data and all the additional information and then help these folks fill out their Schedule A. And then number 2. So now we've got, let's see, it looks like income and expenses, and now we have to enter specific amounts. So this does not look like a fun simulation. So let's see here. We're just entering some fun numbers. All right. So we'll submit the testlet here. All right, alternative minimum tax. Some more numbers. Okay. Finally an easy one here. Submit the testlet, submit. All right, 3 more and we're done. Got a research question. And final one here. All right. And we'll go with that. Okay. And don't forget, check for exhibits. So you got auto report, all that fun stuff. All right. So submit the testlet, and we are done. Okay. And we literally got nothing right. That's what we get for flying through it. Okay. So now assuming, we actually took this seriously, you're going to see the percentage correct by individual subunit of what was actually included on the exam. So this is pretty representative of what to expect on a real exam, the way that they mixed and matched all the different subunits and so forth. So this is going to be a really good test for you to see, what percentage you get correct for your multiple choice and simulations and so forth. And then they'll give you an overall weighted score. Okay, so now we can review the exam rehearsal. So basically you can go back and look at the results of each individual testlet and figure out what you got right and wrong, and really figure out where you need to be toning up those particular weaker areas. Okay, so now let's see here. So we got that out of the way. So let's skip this for now, return to course. Okay. So we've completed our exam rehearsal, which in theory, we would have done better than 0%. So you'll notice now that your final review is unlocked. So once you've completed your first exam rehearsal, it will unlock the final review period. So let's click that. Okay, so basically what this does is the final review mode is now available because you've completed your exam rehearsal. It is best to move into final review mode according to the Adaptive Learning System's recommendations shown above. So as you can see, since we haven't obviously answered most of the multiple choice questions, it's saying that we need to complete those before going into final review mode. But we will not listen to those instructions. So once we unlock the final review mode, we can go into individual study units here. And let's see, it should tell us, let's see here, we gotta go back. Oh, there it is. All right, so now it popped up. So basically, it's saying that we're critical on this particular study unit, obviously, because we've only gotten 11% correct. So basically, it's the final review mode takes your analytics and identifies where you're weaker, where you have been scoring lower, and is going to help you by giving you specific assignments to complete related to how to ensure that you really understand the particular study unit that you're performing weaker on. So final review, this is going to be used in the final few days before you sit for your exam, and is going to really save you a lot of time by telling you where to study, so that you're not wasting your time on things you already understand and so forth. So again, Gleim has made a lot of improvements in their adaptive learning system that I really, really like. And it's all about saving you time, making you more efficient so that you're not spending time studying for stuff that you already understand. So really that's the name of the game when studying for the CPA exam, because you have so little time as it is. Every single advantage that you can find and utilize within your CPA review course is so crucial. And I really do believe that Gleim has some of the best multiple choice analytics currently available for you. So again, I do highly recommend keeping track of your analytics, monitoring them on a daily or weekly basis, and really see where you're performing stronger and weaker and so forth. And I really think that Gleim does a great job of this. So, if you can overlook the weaknesses in the video lectures, other than that, I think Gleim is one of the best courses that is currently out there. So with that, let's go over some of the overall pros and the cons that I found and who I recommend should use Gleim CPA Review course.
All right, so let's discuss who Gleim CPA Review is for. So Gleim CPA Review, they've been a top CPA Review course since 1974. So they've been around for a long time, and they've been continually upgrading their course and adapting it for all the changes that occur during the CPA exam. So I really truly believe that Gleim CPA Review is the best review course for CPA candidates who prefer to self-study. I consider myself a self-studier, and without Gleim CPA Review, I would definitely not be a CPA today. So I know that it works for students who are self-studiers. But with the introduction of Gleim Instruct, I do know also that Gleim CPA Review will also be a course that visual learners who need more structure around their course will also really enjoy using. So again, I really think that almost every single CPA candidate would do well using Gleim CPA Review. Now let's jump into the pros that I found with Gleim CPA. So, it has some of the best performance analysis and simulation wizards that I've seen in the industry. So they really help you identify your strengths and your weaknesses, which is huge. They also offer the most expansive study materials that are more than enough to help you prepare to sit for the CPA exam. They have a built-in study planner that's really designed to help you stay on schedule. They had the second most multiple choice questions in the industry with over 10,000 questions and simulations. They also assign you, if you have the premium version of Gleim CPA Review, a personal counselor to assist you on your CPA exam journey. And they also provide you with that access until you pass guarantee if you go with the premium Gleim CPA Review course. All right, so some of the cons that I did find is that their video lecture dashboard is not quite as advanced as other CPA review courses, so the only option you have is to watch the video. Hopefully in the future they add an extra sidebar that will allow you to follow along using their e-text or virtual textbook, but that feature is not currently available. The Gleim materials are also extremely extensive, and it can feel overwhelming sometimes. So it's very important that you use their performance analysis to identify your strengths and weaknesses so that you're not focusing on too much information at once and really only focus on where you're scoring weaker and so forth. So it can be a little bit of trial and error using the performance analysis to really hone this in, but it can be done. And also, as of January 10 of 2016, Gleim CPA Review also does not offer any flashcards yet. So I do believe this is a future project, but they have not given me a release date yet. All right, so what's the next step? Well, if you are interested in learning more about Gleim CPA, then you absolutely need to try their free trial. It will really give you a taste for everything that they have to offer and really help set the tone for what their course is all about before you purchase. So click the button above or below. This video is going to be posted in multiple areas, so depending where you are, like if it's on YouTube, it'll be in the description. If you're on my website, it should be below you or above you. And if you're on iTunes watching this, please head over to cpaexamguide.com and you can find my written review there and also this video. All right, so if you want to be sure you're making the right decision on your CPA review course purchasing, please text CPA review to 33444 and I will email you my proven 7 steps to picking the best CPA review course for you cheat sheet. So this is going to be a foolproof cheat sheet for you to use to make sure that you're spending your money on the right CPA review course and not going with a course that is going to be inefficient for you and not help you pass the CPA exam. So that is having the right CPA exam a review course is crucial to your success. So thank you again for watching. I really hope that you found this useful, and thanks again for watching.